All right, good afternoon. Y'all can hear I got Wyatt on. And Twin is on. I like Twin. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Oh, we have a conversation to have today. But before we do that, and this to be quick, cause ain't hardly nobody here yet. I'm gonna say all the hellos. Anthony Prosser, first out the gate. Good afternoon, Anthony Prosser. I started the live stream before, and it was Anthony, and then I think Jerica, and then I had to stop the stream because my computer was acting up, so I had to restart the computer. But I just wanted to acknowledge them. Lewis Talbert. Good afternoon. Oh, Lewis was there. Okay, I didn't see yours pop up, Lewis. Sorry. Erica Hummins. Good afternoon. Representing Reading. Got Jerica Vaughn in the house. Good afternoon, Jerica. And Tria Gang says here, rounding out the top five. Good afternoon to all of you were in the top five. I appreciate you. Crystal Smith in the house. Greetings. Good afternoon. Um, let's see. Moesha Thomas. Moesha in the house. Good afternoon, Moesha. Regina Denson Griffin representing Madisonville. Good afternoon. Got Maria Smith out there representing North College Hill. Good afternoon. Scott Bain, West Walnut Hills. Good afternoon. Oh, excuse me. I just picked up the little baby. I'm tired, y'all. I picked up the little baby. Came straight here. She can tell you, I come in, I go use the bathroom, and then I come right down here and get everything set up. She could attest to that. And I'm tired. I had to do painting again today. I don't have that much paint on my hands today. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. So before anybody, you don't watch the NFL, but you wearing a Bengals shirt. First, this is an old Bengals shirt. I've had this for I don't know how many years. And I used it. I wore it specifically because I knew I was going to be painting. I don't mind getting paint on it. So that's just before the people come in, start hating, because you know it's going to happen. Let's see. Too much going on in the city. My head is spinning. This is my safe space. Hoping y'all will. I'll try to be a safe space. Thank you. Brenda Early representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. Jacqueline Carter out there in Evanston. Good afternoon. Janice says, I found you. Janice, my favorite. I was here the whole time. I wasn't lost. But I'm glad that you're here. Good afternoon, Janice. DeWanda Wise Hunter. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. DeAndre Crosby. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Fame in the house. He says he's representing the Republic of Gross Beezy. All right, good afternoon. The fake Dave Stinger in the house. Good afternoon, fake Dave Stinger. Good afternoon. Veronica Burdine. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for checking us out. Dina, the angel, out from Walnut Hills. Good afternoon. Lewis Johnson. Some of y'all know him as CK. Good afternoon. James Benta in the house. Good afternoon. I know he's representing Vancouver, Washington. Good afternoon. All right, and that's it. That's all the good afternoons. That's all the good afternoons. All right, let me get started by saying this. Oh, I'm getting so frustrated. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. I'm getting so frustrated, y'all. I'm getting so frustrated. And I'm going to try to say it in a way to not be judgmental, even though, I'll be honest, I have a hard time doing that. I have a hard time doing that. But I'm going to try. So I'm listening today to the Lincoln Ware Show. And Lincoln talks, there was a fight at a graduation, Hughes High School, I believe. And Lincoln talks about the fight. He brings up the idea that there's a fight. And he didn't really discuss it. But he says, what is wrong with us? We can't go nowhere. We this, we that. Y'all know how that bothers me. And so I'm basically saying it's not a we this and we that, and it's not that there's something wrong with us. And here's what it clicked to me today, or at least I think something clicked today. I don't know that people understand the damage that they do when they do that. But I want to approach it a different way. Because, sometimes when you push back against people, they just push back harder. They don't actually listen to what you're saying. They already got made up in their mind what they got made up in their mind, so they don't want to hear what you have to say. And no matter how much sense you make, they want to twist it to be something different. So let me approach it this way. People fighting. Turn my mic up. Oh, I can't. Number one, well, I guess I could go over there and turn it up. But I'm not yelling today. If I was yelling, that's my normal voice. But I'm trying to stay calm because I want to make sure or do my best to say this the right way. Okay, if you're fighting at the high school, that's bad, right? And if you want to have a conversation about the problem of people fighting at the high school, have that conversation. But to me, you're having a different conversation when you attribute to, how many people would you say was fighting at the high school? How many people would you say? I honestly, I didn't see the video, even when he held it up, and I didn't want to watch the video of fighting. Would you say it was 50% of the people there that was fighting? 50% of the people there? 40% of the people there? 40% of the people there were fighting. Would you say it was 30% of the people there? I won't go through all of the, by tens. It was a very small percentage of people there who got into a fight. How does that become we? How does that become us? How does that represent the Black community? How? Look, if you want to talk about that as an issue, just talk about it as an issue. There are some things going on in the community that we need to address. There are some things going on in the community that we need to work on. But how do you make that represent the Black community? And they don't, I'm not convinced that they mean it that way. I think they're just so, they've been taught the Black people are bad. And, they've heard it. So in their mind, that's the way you're supposed to talk about things when it's Black people. You're supposed to make it the entire community and then talk about it as if it's the entire community. And then if somebody like me says, because of course, I have to make sure I walk this step by step. So when you say, we fought and something wrong with us, we can't do nothing without fighting. What you're saying is there's something inherently wrong with Black people in America. It's all of us. It's all of us. And I reject that. And I reject people who push that as a narrative. Now, here's the reason why I bring up white people when we talk about this. I don't bring up white people to say, well, they do it, so it's okay if we do it. I don't think any reasonable person believes that that's what I'm doing. Now, there are some unreasonable people who believe that. Oh, you trying to justify, so if they fight, it's all right for us to fight. No. Clearly, point that I'm making is, it's not something inherent in the black community that makes black people fight. My point is, black people are people. And people get into fights. So when you want to make it a black people thing, I want to show you fighting is not a black people thing. So stop trying to make it a black people thing. Stop trying to make it a black people thing. Stop trying to make it a black people thing. Now, if you want to talk about some black people had a fight at Hugh's graduation and community, we have to deal with this issue that sometimes happens in our community. Man, I'm on board. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. But y'all know that's not how those conversations start most of the time. Y'all know that. The conversations start, what's wrong with us? There was a fight at the Kentucky Derby. Y'all know, well, y'all don't know, but I tell y'all, but trust me, every morning, I listen. I listen to, what is that dude's name? Scott Sloan on 700. I listen to, what is his name? Why can't I think of his name? White dude on 55 KRC. He's very popular, very well known. He's actually now moved more into kind of do a lot of talking about Christian stuff. I can't think of his name. It's not that important. I listen to white talk radio. First, they don't even address stuff like that. They don't even address it. I'm not saying I mean black people shouldn't address it. But I am telling you, they don't address it. And in the every once in a while, the rare case where they have to bring it up, they don't say, I've never heard them say, what's wrong with us? Why are we out here rioting because our team won a national championship? I never, ever hear that. Because they know, they acknowledge, those people don't represent us. Those people represent themselves. Is there something that we might need to do when teams win national championships and all that kind of stuff to keep order? Sure, but they're not having the conversation about what's wrong with whiteness. Now, somebody listening to this, so you making excuses for black people. It don't matter what white people do. We ain't them. We need to worry about our own house. We don't need to remember that. That's not my house. You know, worry about my own house. If that little baby is out there rioting in the street, worry about my own house. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing, because that's my house. Some people that I don't know, ain't never seen, ain't never met, don't know nothing about. And a small percentage of them get into a fight. I'm not taking that on. That's not my house. And the fact that white people do it don't excuse black people doing it. It just shows that it's not a black thing. So stop trying to make it a black thing. I'm probably say this 35 times. if you want to talk about an issue in the community, just talk about whatever the issue is in the community. But don't try to make it apply to everybody in the community. When I say that, I'm clearly not meaning everybody in the community. No, you say what's wrong with the black community, why we can't go nowhere and not fight. Why are you comfortable saying that? But other communities ain't comfortable saying that. We ain't got to worry. We ain't got time to be worried about no other communities. We got to worry about our own community. So to start out worrying about your community, how about let's not stereotype my own community? That sounds like a good start. I'm concerned about my community. So I want to talk about my community, but I want to make sure I don't stereotype my community. So some people got into a fight at Hughes High School graduation. And it happens from time to time in our community. As a community, how can we come together and do something so that these situations don't happen? See how I said that? And I didn't say, black people can't this and why we always got it at. See? You see how I can frame the conversation so as to not demonize an entire community of people? It really ain't that hard to do. And when I hear it, it makes me think it's intentional. Like I want to demonize a whole community. It always makes me wonder, why do you want to demonize a whole community? I'll tell you why. No, I don't really know why. I don't know why. I guess if you've always heard the community demonized, that's the way you talk about it. But if you always telling black people that they're bad, just by virtue of the fact that they're bad, how can you be surprised when some of them hear it and say, I'm bad? Might as well act bad. Like, I don't think that this stuff, Daryl, I'm with you. This is not new. But believe it or not, white people fight at commencement celebrations. But you're not going to hear white people saying, what is wrong with us? If you want to work on the community, talk about working on the community. And you can do it without putting down the entire community. That's the point I keep trying to make to y'all over and over and over again. Why do y'all fight me on that? And I give y'all examples. Again, it's not hard to do. Some young people got into a fight at Kings Island a few weeks ago. I believe they were black. It's happened previously. What can we do, if anything, as a community, to stop those things from happening? See, I didn't say, why we always got to be fighting. Because we not always fighting. I had this conversation actually with Wyatt a long time ago. We got into a whole long conversation about the use of we. We. And people thought I was just being ridiculous. Like, you just being ridiculous. E-man. You're being ridiculous. And I'm like, no. I think it's important that sometimes the words that we use are really important. If you are a pillar of the community and you're talking about, we was out there fighting yesterday, that includes you. It includes me. It includes all of us. No, some people, a small group of people, got into a fight. That's not that hard to say. Y'all keep painting us, the entire community, as some uncontrollable, beastly brutes running around, robbing each other and killing each other and beating each other and just completely out of control and need to be put down. And then we get to a point, because we get so frustrated because we think it's so widespread, that we begin to say stuff like, it don't matter how the police treat us because we deserve it. Look at how we act. That becomes kind of the byproduct of that type of conversation. You ain't never been robbed. You ain't never been murdered. Ain't nobody ever broke in your house. Ain't nobody ever broke in your car. But you believe the community is so bad that, well, we should just suspend the rules for police and just let them treat us however they want to treat us. Because we so messed up. We're not. There's a percentage of people, and if we're just talking about the black community, there's a percentage of people in the black community who do things they ain't got no business doing. Again, if we want to have a conversation about how do we deal with that, let's have a conversation about how do we deal with that. But let's not act like it's us. It's we. I've never gotten into a fight at a graduation. I'm not taking ownership of that. We wasn't fighting at the graduation. Some people fought at the graduation. Well, they need to ban us. Vernon and Jordan? They need to ban us from having graduations at UC because we don't know how to act. And I'm like, what? A classy one says, why does it matter how it's worded? Still the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. That's been my whole point. It's not the same thing. We didn't get into a fight at Hughes. A group of people got into a fight at Hughes. The black community did not get into a fight at Hughes. A group of people got into a fight at Hughes. Did the white community get into a fight at the Kentucky Derby? No. Some white people fought at the Kentucky Derby. That makes a world of difference. A classy one, if you don't understand how that makes a difference, I don't know how to explain it to you. Yeah, you didn't hear white people talking about we was fighting at the Kentucky Derby. You didn't hear that. You're not gonna hear that. So if you want to know what difference do it make how you say it, ask them why they're not saying we got into a fight at the Kentucky Derby. I think most of us understand that words matter and the way that we talk about ourselves matter. Because, yes, it sends a message. Right, Daryl, fights break out at the Kentucky Derby every year. We don't see it on the news. Go to a Bengals game. Tell me ain't no fights gonna break out. You don't see it on the news. I've been to Kings Island and saw groups of young people fight, and it didn't make the news. Do that make it okay if black people do it? Because again, I have to keep reiterating because people hear what they want to hear. I'm not saying, oh, if white people do it, then it's okay for black people to do it. I'm saying we're people. Don't paint it as a black thing. Y'all can let people try to convince y'all that it's okay to treat all black people like we criminals or something. But I'm not going to participate in that. Now, if you really wanted to have a conversation about solutions, that's fine. I had a conversation. All y'all running around talking about we got into a fight at Hughes, we don't know how to act, call in right now. Tell me, how do you stop people from fighting? And let's do it. Let's do it. Is there a problem with a certain segment of even the black community that are doing things that they don't have any business doing? Yes. Does something need to be done about it? Yes. Is the thing that needs to be done about it paint all black people as if we're all in that segment of the community? No. Well, that's not what I'm trying to say. Why do it matter the way it's said? But let me get up here and say the Republican Party is a hate group. Oh, how you gonna label a whole party? How you gonna say the whole party? How you gonna do, just because one person says something, you can't apply that to the whole party? Why you so hard on Republicans? Leave Republicans alone. Republicans didn't that. Hold on, but you can't have that same amount of passion for the black community? You can understand how wrong it is to generalize Republicans, to put this bad stigma on them. And why do you think people are putting a bad stigma on them? Because why do you think I'm saying bad stuff about Republicans? Because you want people to not like Republicans. That's why you say that stuff. You want people to not like Republicans. Why are you saying the bad stuff about the whole black community? Is it because you want people to not like the black community? Lincoln Ware said, we can't go nowhere without fighting. Who gives you a hard time about criticizing Republicans, though? A whole lot of people. A whole lot of black people. A whole lot of black independents. They're not Republicans, but they defend the F out of Republicans. Carry for defending them. Because when you're defending them, I don't think you're defending the bad ones. You're saying don't paint them all with that brush. Say the same thing about us. I'm opening up the phone lines now. If I'm wrong, call me and tell me I'm wrong. If I'm right, call me and tell me I'm right. Heck, 513-717-KING. 513-717-5464. If I'm wrong, call and tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me, no, we should be, when a small group of black people do something, we should act like it's all black people who did it. We should use wording that makes it seem like it's all black people that do it. CK? No. He hung up. James said no sound. It looks like I got sound. Black Lion say Lincoln Ware is a professional idiot. Lincoln's not an idiot. He know what he be doing. But he genuinely, I know this from years of sitting across from him and talking to him. He genuinely thinks that way. He's been trained to think that way, and it's hard to get it out of him. I really believe he's fighting it, but it's just ingrained in him. Maybe from being a Republican for all of those years. CK.
Hey, man, what's up, man? Hey.
CK, how you doing?
Hey, man, I like your soliloquy you started off the platform with. It was absolutely the truth. I think you hit dead on. Because, like you said, you can't include everyone in isolated incidents. You know what I mean? Because some of us have never even had handcuffs on. You know what I mean? Some of us is law-abiding. You know what I mean? So you can't just lump us into
the overwhelming majority of us are law-abiding.
Yes, I agree. Yes, it's minority of us are criminals.
Right.
And would that be? And when it comes to like violence, we have a history of nonviolence in the black community. If you study our leaders throughout history. Dr. Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. They were nonviolent guys.
But there is
Remember?
violence in the community, and the conversation can be had about how to handle the violence in the community. Whether you
Oh yes,
say
and
that's parenting, whether you say that's stiffer punishments, or whatever. People need to step up and outside of their kind of family circle and step out and help other people. Those are all conversations that I think are fair conversations to have. But if you preface those conversations just with the black community is bad, you lose people.
No, I agree. Because when you talking about criminals, you need to talk about criminals.
Right.
You don't need to talk about a race. You know what I mean? Like all black. Because when you go to prison, there's all races. The killers is not just black. Rapists is not just white. They all nationalities, Mr. Livingston. So me and you have had this conversation on several occasions about stopping the violence in the black community. But remember, I had solutions. But I do agree with you where it's not about stopping it. It's about stopping crime in general, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like you said, all we have to do is teach moral fibers. With moral fibers, you learn to treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I mean? So you open the door for people, you speak to people. Manners get you very far, Livingston, if you did not know this already. Just being a mannerable guy.
Yep.
Did you know about that?
I had to work on that.
I seen you open the door for the young lady, and she looked at you like you wanted to holler about 3 weeks ago, remember?
Yes.
So you're a gentleman in heart.
I am.
I'm
a gentleman, but I don't necessarily have the best of, I guess, what people would call manners. I don't know when to
that
be.
That is a mannerable trait
nice
to open the door for a young lady. She was a younger lady, and you opened the door for her.
Yeah, but I'm saying I agree with you. I do have some work to do. I don't always know when to be nice to people and the people who I'm supposed to be nice to. So that's work I have to do.
When was your last fist fight?
Oh.
There it is. Got him.
Wait, for real, let me think about this.
There it is. This shows your level of manner and stand out of altercations.
I want to say, I don't think my actual last fist fight was probably maybe the 11th grade.
So we have no adult fights in life.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on, I had to take that back. You brought that up. I would say I was probably, around 25. Around 25.
Oh, in your prime. You're in your physical prime right there. Oh, my God. What happened?
I don't know that I want to get into it.
I mean, was it a W or a L? That's all we need.
I don't think it was either. It was too quick to be anything, and nothing really happened to anybody. It was just a real quick little dust up, and then people jumped. Hey. So nobody won, nobody lost.
Well, I took a loss on my last one. I was wasn't long ago at all, but I was 36. Oh. Right. So I think 36 is about the last time you should be fighting, because as soon as I squared up, man, that foot buckled and broke. I broke my foot. Boom. And then the assailant came while I was on the ground. I said, I broke my foot. He started hitting me. In my head, but I couldn't feel it because my broke. I said, my foot broke. He said, you lucky I ain't break your face. So that was the comical part. But yes, you like 25. You reach the age where that's the max to be fighting, and that's how you have to go about it when it comes to teaching the violence. We don't have to have because the fight leads to murders. You disengage the problem immediately. And that means sometimes you might have to apologize when you're not wrong, Livingston.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't agree with that.
Yes. Yes, Livingston. Did you hear what I just said?
I tend to only apologize when I feel like I need to apologize. I don't say I'm sorry if I'm not sorry.
Listen, to get out of certain situations, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to back down.
You can back down and not see. I don't necessarily. This is way off base, or out of what we were talking about. But just as a general principle, I think of an apology as expressing regret, for something, and I don't consider an explanation of something an apology. So I've been in situations where someone was offended by something that I did or said, and I explained what I did or said. I didn't apologize for what I did or said. I just explained, this is what I did, this is why I did it. And if you're offended by that, I don't really know what to tell you, but it was not my intention to offend you. But I'm not gonna be like, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I don't believe in apologizing unless I've done something to apologize for.
You have several responsibilities. You're here with your wife and your grandbaby. That you're outnumbered, sir. Certain situations, you just need to get out of the situation.
Okay.
You got to get out of the situation. So I'm understanding. Sometimes they might be strapped and you're not. Certain situations you need to just leave the element. Stuck in your pride. Leave your pride. Your pride can cost you your life.
I'm typically
and
not
your loved
in
ones
situation. And this is the thing. See, now we can get back to what we were talking about. Why are we hanging around people who strapped? And not just strapped like for self-defense, but strapped like, if you offend me, I will shoot you. Like we need to shun those people. Make that completely unacceptable. But if we keep hanging out with them, we're basically saying it's acceptable.
Tell about it, man. Listen, you right on point. We have a culture of violence in this country, and it's not racially based. It's violence based. We like violence. We like to see blood, guts, and murder. Remember, there's not one black person in Scarface, but black people in America and white people, they love the show. They're not even included. So we don't love it because we black. They don't love it because they white. They love it because it's violence. It's murder. It's drugs, cocaine. This is what we are. We enamored with drugs. We enamored with sex. Am I lying?
We who?
I mean, America. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yep, I just made the same mistake. But you see, I admit my mistake. When I say we, I'm talking about America. So I'm not lumping a race. I'm saying the country is in love with cocaine. The women love cocaine more, and we love selling it. But for us, usually women is cocaine lovers. We love sex, drugs, and money. This is America. And when you stop the culture of violence, you teach them, no, it's about education, right? God first, then the education, and then you will prosper. It's not about drugs. We were tricked with this hip-hop stuff, sir, in 1988. With the invention of NWA, straight out of Compton, when it turned from fun and play to murder an essay or murder N-word. That's what happened in 88. So you teach the kids the history and they will change. They stuck in a violent, a violent zone, like Scarface. They stuck in that. If you look at their T-shirts, the kids, they love that. So just teach them about that. Listen to me, Livingston. Listen. Teach them about education, God, and you will prosper. Go to college. College is funner than selling drugs in your teenage years. Trust me, I know. I did both.
All right. CK, I got to run.
Thank you, man. Hey, thank you. Will you promise to preach the nonviolence?
Sure.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your call. That was CK. 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. He loses me every once in a while. Every once in a while, he loses me. But, all right. So, there was a fight at Hughes' graduation. As a community, is there something that we need to do to maybe make sure that things like this don't... I mean, for real. But you all right over there? Yeah. Okay. For real, what can the community do to stop random people from getting into fights? Honestly, I'm asking an honest question. What can the community do? Vernon's here. And Vernon was the one that I was kind of debating with earlier on the Lincoln Ware show, where he doesn't see a problem with kind of painting the whole black community as violent because a very small percentage of people got into a fight at Hughes High School. And he argued with me about it. He did. He argued with me about it. Like, hey, why are you bringing up white people? It don't matter if white people fight. Black people, like Lincoln said, something is wrong with us. The phones are not off. Vernon says, that's a gross misrepresentation of what I said. No, it's really not. Lincoln said there's something wrong with us. I said it's not us. It's not a us problem because white people fight as well. And you were saying, so what? Because white people do it don't mean it's okay for us to do it. Arguing the point that we, as a community, fight. Whereas white people, it's individual, and that doesn't excuse us as a community. That's it. That was the exact conversation. And then I become the bad guy. For saying it's not a black thing. But since now we want to actually talk about, or now I'm opening up the floor to actually talk about the incident and to talk about the small number of people in the black community who do bad things and ask, what can we do? I know the latest thing, I heard Lincoln screaming it. Oh, hold on. I said there's a difference between a group of teenagers fighting at a high school graduation and some drunk adults fighting at the Kentucky Derby. I said it and I believe it. In your mind, what's the difference? Because you were saying it as if to say the drunk people fighting at the Kentucky Derby, not bad. The young people fighting at the graduation is bad. There's a difference. I would love to know, in your mind, what's the difference? One group of people fighting, another group of people fighting, both in inappropriate situations. What, the Kentucky Derby people were dressed better, maybe? So that makes it okay. I would just love to know in your mind, and I'm not here to tell you, I am going to tell you you're wrong, but I'm not here to like bash you and tell you you're a horrible person. I would really love to understand that mindset. You're not the only person who has that mindset. There are a whole lot of people who share that mindset with you. Hey, there was some white people fighting at the Kentucky Derby. Hey, there was some black people fighting at a graduation. But why you talking about them white people? Leave them white people alone. They was just drunk and fighting. That's different than what them black people did. What did the black people do? Well, they was fighting. Wouldn't that make the stuff that the white people did? Public intoxication and fighting? But did you see the way the white people was dressed? Oh, you're right. That make it okay. Like, I don't understand how you're making the difference in your mind. So, somebody else help me if y'all can help me. Somebody else help me understand. Because I know Vernon is not the only one who sees it that way. Okay. The difference is the result of the teens fighting at the graduation will result in the privilege of holding their graduation at the campus of UC revoked. Now, why don't you explain what might happen as a result of some drunks at the Derby fighting? I'll wait. You don't have to wait. I'll tell you. Probably nothing because of that mindset. Probably nothing because of that mindset. And if they ban graduations on the campus of UC because some teens got, what are you doing over there, little baby? If they're banning some teens because a small number of people got into a fight at a graduation, that's wrong. I don't support that. So you're saying, and based on what you said, there's no difference. But you perceive one as better than the other. And it's just happenstance that the one that included black people is the bad one, and the one that included white people is the good one. Those are the mindsets, the excuse making and all of that kind of stuff. Those are the mindsets that create those results. What are you doing, little baby? Remember earlier when I said, hey, I need you to not make a whole lot of noise over there? No. Well, you better remember it. I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny, like, and people really don't understand that mindset is the difference. Walter says if we fight anywhere, they're going to criticize us. Hold on, Walter. And a classy one says, so you don't know how to differentiate? Well, tell me how to differentiate. You ready? You tell me the difference. There was a group of white people who got into a fight at the Kentucky Derby. There was a group of looked like black people, based on the glance that I could see on Lincoln's phone. There was a group of black people that got into a fight at a graduation. You tell me, differentiate for me. Tell me what's the difference. Vernon says, let's not talk about my mindset. Let's talk about your mindset. Okay, I'm open to that. Tell me what might happen as a result of the drunks at the Derby fighting. We're not talking about my mindset now. Drunks probably fight every year at the Derby. I doubt that teens fight at every graduation, but how many times do you think UC will let that happen before they pull the plug? That has nothing to do with my mindset. I don't know how many times it'll happen, but my guess is, based on your mindset, this is my mindset now. Based on your mindset, you'd like to see the graduation stop happening. Have you called? Are you suggesting that maybe the Kentucky Derby should stop letting people drink at the Kentucky Derby to curb drunken violence? See, it really does become the way we view these things. And again, for me, it ain't even about the individual cases. It's about y'all keep painting the whole community. Like the community had a fight. Like everybody got on the phone and said, hey, meet us at Hughes. Are you black? Yeah, I'm black. Okay, meet at Hughes. We about to have a big fight. And, hey, are you black? No, I'm not black. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wrong number. Hey, are you black? Yeah, I'm black. Meet me at Hughes. We about to have a big fight. And everybody, did we get every black Cincinnatian? Yeah, we got the whole black Cincinnati meeting up at Hughes. All right, let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. Again, Vernon, if you want to have a conversation about how to stop violence at graduations, let's have that conversation. But why are you painting the whole community like the community had a fight there? Why are you acting like a fight at Hughes is worse than a fight somewhere else? They're both wrong. See, here's my thing is, they're both wrong. They're both bad. If anybody's making excuses, you're making excuses for the white people. Well, they was drunk, so what were they supposed to do? I mean, they drunk. Ain't they supposed to fight? A classy one says one was for entertainment. Okay, which fight do you believe was for entertainment? I'm confused at how you're differentiating. A classy one, remember the question was, how do we differentiate? And he was going to help me. I asked him, you had two fights. One white people fighting at the Kentucky Derby, one black people fighting at a graduation. Differentiate for me. And he says one was for entertainment. Which fight was for entertainment in your mind? Vernon says the CPS superintendent issued an apology for the fight. Based on what you're saying, it sounds like you disagree with her apologizing. Am I right or wrong? I can't tell nobody how to apologize. Would I have apologized? I don't know, probably not. What is she apologizing for? Was she fighting? I get the idea that I apologize maybe because I brought people here and they fought. But she wasn't apologizing on behalf of Black Cincinnati. She's probably apologizing because an event that her organization threw ended up with some people fighting. I don't know that I would do it, but I respect it. And I'm going to be for real. I don't understand how this is hard. Y'all see why I have to keep having these conversations? It's almost the same thing. I think the overwhelming majority of people understand that you can talk about, which again, I keep saying this because I'm trying to drill it into their heads. Hey, there was a fight at a graduation. That shouldn't happen. How can we stop that from happening? As opposed to black people can't go nowhere. Black people can't do nothing. Yes, I have to bring up white people when you throw out black people can't go nowhere. Black people can't do nothing because they always fighting. Yes, I have to bring up black people ain't the only people who fight. And you can make all the excuses in the world that you want to, Vernon. Vernon says, that's it. She was apologizing because her students acted a fool while they were guests in the campus of the University of Cincinnati. She could not apologize. Well, she definitely could have not apologized. And I don't know if those were her students or not. I didn't pay close enough attention to see exactly who was fighting. Vernon says, stop making stuff up. No one said black people can't go anywhere. Your argument is weak when you do that. Maybe you didn't hear the Lincoln Ware show, which is where this began. That was the way Lincoln opened it up. Black people can't, why can't we just go places and not fight? Black people can't go nowhere. So what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm making it up. That's what you were defending. You were defending something you didn't even hear. Because you're so predisposed to defending somebody saying something negative about black people. You don't even have to hear it. What? He defending black people? He must be wrong. Let me jump in. Do you know what happened at the beginning? Well, no, I don't know what happened. I just hear somebody defending black people, so I know they got to be wrong. So let me get in here and get some licks in. Oh, you missed the opening segment of his show. But that's what he said, and that's what you was defending the whole damn day. You done spent the whole day defending something that you didn't even hear because you heard somebody defending black people. You were so outraged that you heard somebody defending black people that you had to jump in. What is wrong with you? That's the way that you respond to hearing somebody defend black people. For me, I hear somebody defending black people. Hey, what happened? Well, who said something? That would be the way that I would respond to it. Hold on, somebody on there saying black people ain't always bad. Who said black people was always bad? Not say, oh, so you saying the black people that you defended it all day. You were not being critical of the way the young people acted at the graduation. You were specifically upset that I brought up the white people at the Derby. That was your bone of contention with me. That I brought up that white people fight just like black people fight. That was your issue. Y'all, I'm focusing on Vernon because I think his mindset is that way as well. And I don't really believe with 100% certainty that his heart is negative towards black people. I just think his brain has been trained to see the bad if it's black. His brain has been trained that if it's black, it's bad, and if somebody is defending black, they're wrong. I don't understand that. If you would have just been focused on the incident, it'd probably been a good conversation, but you wasn't. I don't know. I just get frustrated, y'all. I do. I get frustrated because I like black people. And again, the overwhelming majority of us are good people. And I'm tired of black people telling us that black people are bad people. Black people, like all other people, have a small group of people in our community doing bad stuff. Vern says, bring it on. If you're defending the actions of yours, when did I defend their actions? Really think back during our entire back and forth and everything that I've said today. What did I say to defend bad behavior in the black community? Tell me any one thing that you can even accidentally perceive as me defending bad behavior in the black community. I challenge you. I challenge you. A classy one says, that's not what the crime stats show. What crime stats? You can't just say that to me. Drop a link. Drop a link to the crime stats that say the majority of black people are criminals. Drop a link to those crime stats. Drop it right now. A link to a crime stat that says the majority of black people in America are criminals. Show me. Show me. A classy one, he's on YouTube. A classy one said, that's not what the crime stats show. Ken.
What's going on, Emanuel?
Hey, how you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, man. Getting ready to walk this dog. But I thought I'd give you a call, man, on your subject.
All right.
I tell you, I think that the people, when they say black people are, what do you call it? What was you saying? Black people are what now?
Why can't black people get together and not fight? Why can't we can't go, this, I believe this is very close to the quote. Black people can't go nowhere and not fight.
Okay, all right. I don't believe he's talking about the majority of black people. I believe he's talking about there are those few, those pockets, those individuals and neighborhoods of people that do have a tendency to act inappropriate, man. They're not talking about the vast majority of blacks.
See, that's where we part ways. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Do white people fight?
Listen, man.
No, for real. I'm going somewhere. Just answer the question.
Yes, they do.
All right.
They do, man.
Ken.
All races get into it, man.
Ken, when have you heard white people say white people can't go nowhere without fighting? When have you ever heard that?
I have not.
So then why is it okay?
And I'll tell you why I haven't heard that.
And you'll say.
Because I am not tuned. Hold on, man. I am not tuned in to their talk radios and those other outlets that they have that talk about themselves. We are the only ones that truly, really air out our dirty laundry.
That's not
publicly.
true. That's not true. White people air out. I listen to
them. Okay, all right.
I'm telling you, I listen to them
too
on a regular basis. And I've never heard them say that because they understand that if they say that, yes, they are talking about all white people. And that's why they don't say it. You can't say black people can't go nowhere without fighting and say, well, I didn't mean all black people.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Okay, well, let's just look at it like this. They're using bad grammar. They need to be more specific and break it down. How about that? Maybe they may not need to say all blacks. Maybe they need to be more specific in what they're saying. There are individuals And there are pockets in neighborhoods that have a tendency to get a little more,
I agree.
What's the young word y'all use these days? To get a little more, what's the young words I keep hearing?
I don't know.
Get a little more ratchet. You know, they get a little more violent. They're a little more toxic, spicy. All those little young people words they use. We do have people like that. I'm born and raised in projects. I know.
I agree. But I don't think it's just grammar. See, I think they really mean it when they say it. I think their brains have been brainwashed to the point where when they say black people can't go nowhere without fighting, I think they're talking about all black people. I really believe that they believe they're the exception to the rule. Because that's how they've been taught to think.
I believe in some cases, depending on the age, they can be conditioned. But at the same time, I want to say it could be just bad grammar. Now, it is sometimes when you a host, you could be a shock jock, and you know how to use words to influence calls and create a buzz. He could have been doing that. There's a lot of things we can look at to break down and find out why he said it the way he said it. But I want to say this. I wouldn't take it as literally every single black person in the United States or wherever. That goes back to what I said.
But let me
never used bad grammar.
Ken, listen, I don't believe that white people are smarter than black people, right? I believe, I
don't believe that either.
I believe we're all intelligent. So how is it that they have figured out to not say white people can't go nowhere without causing problems, but we can't figure out how to not say black people can't go nowhere without causing problems? They're not smarter than us. Why can't we figure it out?
They're not. I believe a few of us have. You don't say it. I don't say it. A few of us have. But once again, there are those few, those pockets, and those individuals that don't do that, man. It's just what it is.
I agree with that.
He could have used better language in explaining himself.
That's just it.
I think he used the language sometimes. Go ahead.
He knew what he was doing. He knew, and Vernon, people like Vernon and Lincoln and those guys, they know what they're doing when they do it. I don't believe, like you're basically giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't. I believe they wholeheartedly understand what they're saying, the message that they're sending when they say it.
Well, you hold them accountable then, and that's commendable, and you should. I'm holding them accountable as well, but at the same time, I'll pull them to the side and say, hey, listen, man, let's change your grammar and how you explain the situation, because you have some people out here that's going to take that for face value and run with it. And you have an opportunity to change the way we're thinking because of your platform. Now, let's talk about platforms.
All right.
There was a time on the Buzz had Lincoln from 10 to 2, and then you and Sister Speak came on next, and then I think it was the Sports Channel came on.
Uh-huh.
Is that right? It was, and I was working at that time. That was great. Now we have 3 black men that have platforms that are connected with Cincinnati, that can use their platforms to enlighten the people in our community. And it kind of seemed like we kind of butt heads a little bit from time to time. I wish y'all could come together and get on the same page, but I believe y'all are on the same page. You just got different philosophies and personalities that changes everything. But it couldn't be a better time to have 3 different black men on platforms talking about the black community. That's great.
Who's the 3 people?
Lincoln starting it off from 10 to 1, Wyatt from 1 to 3, 3:30, and then you follow up from 3:30 to about 6.
Okay.
You are pumping major information into the community, man, from 10 to 6. Now, I will admit, not all your subscribers are really listening because they got their own little conversation on the side. But the ones that are committed to listening and communicating with you, it's a great thing. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Say what?
I think what you hear, though, is 3 different perspectives. I believe at least 2 of those perspectives have the best interests of the black community at heart. I believe one of them is just there kind of for entertainment and personal, personal gratification.
I hear you, man. I understand.
But,
yeah,
I like the fact that we can all kind of disagree. But like you said, we all, well, for the most part, we have the same goal. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hold on. I have to take it back. I can't lie. I don't think we all 3 have the same goal. I think Wyatt and I have the same goal. I think we would both love to see a crime-free black community, everybody prosperous and, making it and, doing their own thing, happy and free. That's what I believe. I don't believe that third person would be really happy if that were the outcome because I just don't think they've been mentally trained to be that way. So, but that's just my personal opinion.
Wow, that says a lot. Well, hey, it's a good one. And I tell you what, I'll compliment you once again, man. You got a great platform. I'm glad you're using it in for lack of a better word, the right manner. And I'm going to take my dog for a walk, man, like I normally do. You be easy.
Ken, have a good day. All right. That's Ken. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just have to tell the truth. When I say I'm sorry, I mean, I don't intend on offending anybody, but I have to tell the truth as I see it. Sierra says there's 4 shows. Ivy is on from 1 to 3. Yeah, but can't nobody listen to him. He got everybody blocked. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would definitely talk about stuff that he talks about, but he got everybody blocked. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't agree with dude, he'll block you. That's just, and to me, that's weird. So I can't include him because, I think everybody that I know personally who enjoys talk, they're blocked on his platform. So that's the only reason I can't include him. I think he's a great talk show host. And I'm telling you the truth, no matter how he feel about me, I think he's a great talk show host. But when you block everybody because they don't agree with you, it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's going for a different audience, and I respect that. I respect that. Sierra says, I'm not blocked. His format is pretty cool. He has 3 to 4 rotating hosts. Well, I'm glad you're not blocked. I'm going to imagine you don't disagree with him, vocally. That's just my guess. You don't disagree with him vocally. I'm going to guess that's why you're not blocked. But again, I can't talk about his platform or his format or any of that kind of stuff because I can't see it. It is what it is. I listen to everyone with the exception of Lincoln Ware. And look, even with what I said, Look, y'all, I know I'm like a walking contradiction sometimes. Even with what I said about Lincoln, and I truly feel that way about Lincoln, again, based on conversations, personal conversations, and experiencing him from for 20 plus years. I don't believe he cared one way or the other what happened to the black community. The black community is great. As long as he can do a show about it, he'll be fine. The black community crumbles and falls. As long as he can do a show about it, and he'll be fine. As long as he still have his influence and he can rub elbows with the Cincinnati elite, he's straight. I genuinely believe that. But that don't mean his show is not entertaining as heck. Because he's got one of the best shows on radio. You don't have to really care about black people to have. He believes every negative stereotype about black people that exists. That was my experience. But I still listen to his show because it's so daggone entertaining. And right, Timothy, Lincoln used to be a lot worse. He did. He really did. And that's why I say I don't think it's, from the heart. I think it's the way his head has been trained. I think it's the way his head has been trained. But okay, so nobody wants to talk about how do we deal with the minority. Maybe another day. Maybe another day. And again, to me, saying parenting, that's fine. That's just identifying the problem. That's not a solution. That's not a solution. Vernon says, Lincoln's show is entertaining and informative. If it wasn't as informative as it is, I'd probably listen to something else for those 3 hours. He does get information. He does get information out to the people. Okay, so since people don't want to talk about that. People don't want to talk about that. And I kind of agree. I'm exhausted too. I get exhausted. And I don't even have to be calling. Just the mental arguments that I hear. And I hear people say all kind of ridiculous things. Again, why can't black people go nowhere without fighting? I hear people say stuff like that. And it drives me crazy, and I'm having all kind of arguments just in my head with those people, knowing, because again, I listen to conservative, and I hear those types of things from conservative, racist, all of that kind of stuff. For real, that's the stuff that I hear from racists. When they're talking on conservative radio and they're talking about, you don't want to have black people at events and you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. When I hear all of that stuff, I'll be like, oh. And then when I hear us say it, I'll be like, oh. And it gets exhausting. It does. It gets exhausting. I listen to XM. And I listen to everything. I listen to conservative and liberal and religious and the country and all of that stuff. A classic one says, bring back accountability. How? How? How do we bring back accountability? What does that look like? Again, you just identified a problem. I know you think that was a solution, but it wasn't. You identified a problem. We lack accountability. Solution would be, how do we bring back accountability? Boom. When you answer that, that's the solution. So how? How? I fall victim to this too. It's easy to further identify the problem. We need better parents. You're right. That's the problem. We need better parents. We need to hold parents accountable. You're right. That's the problem. Parents are not being held accountable. You're right. But where's the solution? And I get it. Everybody, you're not going to just, here's the solution. And then people going to be, oh, yeah, that's the solution. But it do kill me when I hear people identify a part of the problem and they act like they just gave you the solution. It killed me. I'll be like, and I believe in your heart you want to come up with a solution. But you didn't. But okay, yeah, I'm exhausted. I told y'all yesterday, I wanted y'all to think about this. Back in the day, a lot of hosts, a lot of shows. I just for the next few minutes, I got like 10 minutes left. Mary says it's too late to correct this generation. Need to start on the now generation, the babies. But how? What do we do? How do we start on the babies? What do we do? Because this generation is the generation having the babies. So how do we fix the generation that's going to be raised by the generation that we perceive as lost? I don't know. What need to be put in place? Do we need to start snatching people kids from them and saying you're not fit? Do we need to put them in parenting class? And then how do you make sure that they do the stuff that you teach them in parenting class? Brent.
Hey, since you got 10 minutes left, I'm going to take up 9 minutes and 58 seconds of it. Yeah, you were talking about with everything that's happened with the graduation there at UC, and yet Lincoln has been doing that for so long that it's just normal to him. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I don't remember if you remember back during the 101 Soul days. I don't think you were there, but Dave Stinger was there. And I forgot what the context was, but Lincoln went to break and pretty much said, these, dingers can't get together. We can't even agree upon a protest. And Dave Stinger was like, what'd you say? And he said, dingers. And, it was just normal to him. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Lincoln, do you understand what you're saying? And because that just gives affirmation to those, those vocal races that are in the chat, but also those that are definitely in the comment section, those white folks that are just listening, and they're just there for confirmation to hear things like that and say, see, yep, I told you, see, even Lincoln agrees. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, Lincoln, come on, you got to do better. You got to understand that Because I remember one time I called him in. I'm like, look, are you saying when these racists call that it's good radio? And I told them, good radio for who and at whose expense. So I'm like, you have to really consider that. And then I brought up the Black Eagle and everything and said he would never let a racist get on there and lead you by the nose and ask all the questions that you do. I'm like, because he is protecting his platform, because he knows the information that goes on over the radio waves, or not the radio waves, but the satellite waves, that it reaches people in the Black community, and he wants to make sure he's giving them, good information. So,
well, let me say this about that. Carolyn just brought up something. I was actually about to say it, but I'm giving her credit. I don't know if I read hers before I thought of it. Those people, those racists and stuff, those are his literal friends. Like, those are people, he goes to parties with them. I mean, I don't know if he do anymore, at 75, even though I imagine he probably still does. He goes to parties with them. They talk and all of that kind of stuff. He's their friend. So he's not going to not let them do what they want to do. That's number one. It's not going to happen. They are his person, like, when he be, my good friend so-and-so, my good friend so-and-so, they're his literal friend. So that's one reason why he won't do it. Number two, it is. I wouldn't have that much of a problem. Well, I don't have a problem with it at all because I understand why he does it. I just wish. I'm trying to not be negative. I wish that he was a little quicker and had maybe a little bit, because even when he had the information, he's not quick with it to, you know what I'm saying, shoot down those arguments effectively. And so they bust him up a lot. And I used to tell you when I was there, like, bro, you getting busted up. Like, you gotta something, fight back, move, duck, something, because you getting busted up by a dummy. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they just be dumb and they just be shooting stuff. How can you not counter that stuff quickly? But just he's not quick with it in that way. So
yeah, and I just remember when I started listening back in what was like '99 or whatever like that, and you had a variety of shows because Lincoln was the conservative, and then J Love was more of the independent liberal, and then you had Sister Speak, and those are the three main ones I listened to because they were during my work hours. And I think part of it is that once they sold the station, they changed up the format. Lincoln had to try to fill the role of all of those, because even Nathan's show and even your brother's show, even before that, he had to try to fill what all of those other shows were and combine them into one. To keep people listening and keep people engaged and everything. And, I'm always there for a good joke and good stories and everything, but when it just skews so heavily, when the topics are the exact same topics that I would hear down the dial or on Fox News and just talking about Black people and, just talking about it in general and being negative about it, it's like, oh, my goodness. And that's what I've told them several times. I'm like, as 1230 The Buzz become a rest haven for racists and Uncle Toms and Coons, So it's, and I thought he would get that reference because that was from one of his favorite movies, The Mac, when he told him that what was it? Told Goldie once he got his lady stolen. Pretty Tony said, you just a rest haven for hoes. That's all you are. But have you ever seen The Mac? It's a slight tangent. Have you seen that movie?
I have.
That movie is just so chaotic and just the way it's cut up and put together. And why in the middle of the movie do you have a pimp softball game? It was a literal pimp softball game. It wasn't acting.
I watched it once, and like you said, it is disjointed. And of course, I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it like 10 years ago or something like that. And it's just so disjointed. And of course, having been watching it in the 2000s, it was so dated, that it was hard to get into it. But I did watch it. I didn't really get much from it, but I was the same way though with Friday. Like I didn't watch that until much later, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, but folks of that age, they love that movie. That is one of their go-to movies, and I'm like, because I didn't see it until like maybe a couple years ago, and I'm sitting there watching it like, what is going on here? And you come in town on the bus and you leave on the bus.
Yeah.
You know, what's the deal? You were supposed to be at the top of your game and had the one girl, you know, you sweet talked her, and then she came in crying and pretty much told her, get back out there and make my money. I don't care what's wrong with you. And it's like, wow, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But well, it is just like with because my uncles are the same age as Lincoln, and I see a lot of the similar tendencies. Like when Lincoln loved him some Tarzan, and when he gave the Tarzan yell, that was just absolutely hilarious. But a couple of weeks ago, when I saw my uncle, they wanted me to help them find all the old Tarzan movies, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, if that's what you want, to watch, you know, you watch what you watch. So
yeah.
I was able to find a couple for them. But what else? The Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Stephanie Mills, Shaka Khan concert. Are you going to that?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind going, but I'm probably not going.
Mm-hmm. Now, how would you rank them in order of your, not necessarily vocally? Well, yeah, let's do vocally. Rank them vocally from, best to least, and then rank them, from your most favorite to least favorite.
Ooh,
not saying that your least favorite is bad, or you can
right.
one
see,
you just.
I don't know if I can rank them from best to least or whatever, because they're different, and what each and every one of them does is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I can try to draw a sports parallel, it's like, all right, you got Shaq dominating the middle. You got Steph Curry out there shooting threes from three-quarter court. And you got Jordan flying through the air. Who's best? They all just different. They're all great, but they're all just different. So it's hard to say which is best. That's the way I see it.
Right. But in terms of your favorites?
In terms of my favorite, ooh, that's hard too, because I would have to say I love Gladys Knight's voice. I love her voice. Like, I could listen to Gladys Knight all day. I love her voice. Shaka and Patti, there's something about the power and range that they have.
And control.
Yes. Stephanie Mills, she's got a good voice. My least favorite, I guess I would say, would be Stephanie Mills.
Now, is it her vibrato that is that it, or is it?
No, it really is just because somebody had to be last, and I love Gladys's voice, just pure, just her voice over everybody else's, and in my mind, Patti and Shaka can do so much with their voice. She's got a good voice. That vibrato is a little annoying, just a little bit, but you can't really take nothing from her. Like, I'm not saying she's not good. Like, she's great, but just for my taste, not as good as the other three. I don't know if you force me. All right, you got a gun to my head. All right, and if I don't tell, you're gonna kill my mama. She's already
a super soaker.
But okay, who's number one? Who's number one? Stop playing, nigga. Tell me who number one. Okay. Yeah. Number one, I would have to say Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight is number one. Okay. Who's number two? Stop stalling. Number two. Oh, Shaka Patti. Oh. If I had to say one, I would say Shaka Khan. If I had to say one, I would say Shaka Khan. Okay, can you take the gun now? So I would say Gladys, Shaka Khan, Patti, and Stephanie. But I could flip Shaka and Patty, all day. They could move position to position, but I'm pretty steady on Gladys number 1 and Stephanie number 4.
Yeah. See, and I would go Patty number 1, Gladys number 2, then Stephanie, and then Shaka. And the only reason why Shaka Khan is at the bottom for me is that I don't know much. I think I may know 4 of her songs.
Who?
Yeah. Shaka Khan.
You only know 4 Shaka Khan songs?
Look, the remake where she did "I Feel for You," and then some of the "Tell Me." Then she did, "Tell Me Something Good." Oh, good Lord!
You don't know
her
Stay?
reading off. Stay. Okay, yeah. See, I'm more familiar with the Erykah Badu version of "Stay" than
Through
her
the Fire.
version of "Stay." Oh yeah, "Through the Fire." Yep, you're right. So, but I don't know much of her songs. I just know her mainly for the screaming and not the. I need to go back and listen to albums of her, even
Ain't
back when
Nobody.
she was with Rufus.
Ain't Nobody.
Yeah, but I'm Every Woman. I'm just don't.
I get it.
Because to me, Shaka does more screaming even than Patty. But Patty can sing and smooth it out, and she can hit those screams that get the zesty people jumping up and down and all that stuff. So. But it's all personal preference and everything. But I've seen Patty three times now, twice there in Cincinnati, and just recently last week actually. And she did not roll around on the floor, which I was a little bit disappointed, but she's 80 years old.
Okay.
And so I'm glad she didn't fall when she came out there with that floor-length gown that was black and white, and she couldn't kick her shoes off. But she did a phenomenal job even at her age. And then her background singers, she had 3 background singers, 1 dude and 2 women that were, oh my goodness. They very well could be, lead singers, but yeah.
Okay.
But and last thing, because Lil Baby was making a lot of noise. Was she working on her 450 frog splash? Because it almost sounded like she was jumping down the stairs.
No, she was over here on the elliptical, and I had to move the elliptical, and so she was bumping something, and she's made me promise that we working out when the show is over. So.
All right, you don't find something else to do conveniently.
No, I promised her, and I do not break promises that I make to that little baby.
You never make a promise that you can't keep.
Tell him, Drew Hill.
Drew Hill, yes. Them little fellas could sing, especially when they went to 5-part harmony. It was like, wow, it was even better than the 4-part. But
okay.
Oh wow. But all right, well that's really all I had today. No wrestling report outside the little baby working on the moves, but one day she's
hold on.
you.
Now, you talked a little bit about back in the day. Who was your favorite old school Buzz personality? Or all-time favorite Buzz personality? It don't even have to be old school, Terrence Howard included. Your favorite Buzz personality?
Oh, J Love show, hands down.
J Love. Well, hold on.
Hands
That's your
down.
favorite show, but who's your favorite person? So J Love would be your favorite personality?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you weren't a personality back then. So now I loved it when, because I just couldn't listen to Sisters speak when it was just the Sisters on. It was just something about it. But when you were a guest to sort of add that testosterone to all that estrogen, that was the perfect blend of back and forth. That's why you and Raven should do a show, because that would be, it would be unfiltered. You don't have to worry about the radio, and I'm sure Raven would be throwing haymakers at you. So it would be hilarious from that standpoint.
All right. Hey, Brent, I appreciate your call.
All right, take it easy.
All right. So his favorite personality was J Love, and his favorite show, the J Love Show. That makes sense. 513-717-KING. 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. I want your favorite all-time personality and show. And I'm not reading them if you if you send them in. I mean, I'll see them, but I'm not going to read them. You got to call in and tell me. And if nobody calls, that's fine, because it's about time for me to get off of here anyway. So you got to call in and tell me. And I did see Raven Monday in the house. Raven Monday in the house said she just stopped in to say hi. It is good to see you in the chat. And hi. Thank you. Thank you for checking in on me. I appreciate you. Let me go to the phone. Mimi.
Emanuel.
Yes.
I had to call to rip Brent a new one.
Oh.
How is he going to put Shaka last? And you know I don't want to call because too many people said I sound like an old lady. But how is he going to put Shaka last?
He didn't really follow her musical career.
That's not right. No. Shaka Khan?
The man said Shaka is last. That don't mean that Shaka is bad. He's not saying she's bad. He's just saying his ranking, she's number 4.
Brent. Oh, I got beef with you now. I thought we were friends, but no. You can't put Shaka last. You just cannot. That's just wrong. That's blasphemy.
You just saying that because you're from Chicago and she from Chicago.
No, I'm not. I just don't think she should be last. I mean, well, first of all, it's kind of hard to rank all 4 of them because they're all really good singers.
Yes.
They all have a distinctive voice, which is what I love because everybody today, the SZAs, the Hers, they all sound alike to me. I cannot distinguish any of them today. Nobody has an original voice with the exception of maybe Fantasia, Beyonce, and Jennifer Hudson. When I hear them singing, I know who they are. But everybody else, it's auto-tune. They sound the same.
All right, so rank them 1 through 4.
I can't. That's too hard. Although
you gonna say you can't rank them, but you mad at him for ranking them.
But then rip Brit up. But I do something about Shaka. I hope my mother isn't listening to this. I'm about to tell you something I probably shouldn't be telling.
Oh, tell me.
But when I had to be about 17 or 18, and my parents went on a vacation, and I was left home alone for the first time. And you know what? Now that I'm bringing this up, I'm going to call this dude and ask him if he still has. I did a dance.
What?
I did a dance. I did a performance. I used to always. Never mind. I did a performance for the guy I was dating once.
Oh.
To tell me something good. But I did it on my mother's, and if she ever finds out about this, she will literally beat my 53-year-old ass. I did the dance on the dining room table.
Oh.
And my boyfriend at the time was videotaping it because it was so good. It was so good. And it culminated with a split. I jumped off the dining room table and did a split on the dining room floor. I am going to call that dude and ask him, do you still have that tape?
Oh, my goodness.
From when I was a weird kid. And it was like the first time I was home alone. And, you know, you kind of have to do the Tom Cruise sliding across the floor, dancing stuff when you're home alone for the first time. But, yeah, the point of my call was to shame Mr. Brent Beer because that's just wrong.
All right.
But yeah, and nobody in the chat better not bust me out to my mama.
All right. So your favorite all time, your favorite Buzz host.
Oh, without a doubt. Mr. Nate Livingston, who gave us White Wednesday. Come on now.
And
not only that, he had the Slammin' theme song. Do you remember his theme song?
Nate
Livingston.
Yes, I do. All right. And so
Well, actually, I take that back. It's a tie between Nate and Nathan Ivey. Nathan is and was a very good talk show host. But, Nate had the Slammin' theme song and White Wednesdays, so.
All right, and so if different, your favorite ever show?
Show?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for the buzz. I thought you meant TV show.
No.
No, it would have to be the same. It would have to be Nate or Nathan.
Okay.
Their show.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Although, I still laugh to this day when I think about Jerry saying, why would somebody want to throw bowls? I think I remember where I was. I was working at that godforsaken law firm in my cubicle, and I laughed for a good 10 minutes. And then I called you and was like, and you were laughing when you answered the phone. That was just the best.
Well, I appreciate your call. One more quick question. So when y'all got finished, did y'all clean off the dining room table at least?
I cleaned off the dining room table. Yes, okay. I didn't want my sock prints on the dining room table.
Sock
prints.
I
cleaned off the table.
Yeah, sock prints. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was 17. I didn't do that at 17.
Stop it. He beat it up right there on the dining room table. We know. It's okay. It's okay.
He did not. I was very much still a virgin at 17.
All
and
right.
now I'm revealing too much. So, But yes, shame on Brent. Shame on Brent. Shame on Brent.
All right. I appreciate the call. Now, come on. Everybody know he beat it up. You didn't do no, basically strip tease on the dining room table with their home alone, doing strip tease on the dining room table to tell me something good, and then y'all just watch TV. Stop it. You ain't fooling nobody. And that's okay. It's okay. Anthony.
Hey, what up, E?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Hello, little baby.
Little baby went upstairs.
Okay. Well, I just called in, man, to put my 2 cents in on my favorite host, and I would have to nominate Miss Edna.
Okay.
She brought love and positivity. She made you feel like, you was in the room with that grandma that has that cure for the soul.
Yeah, I always liked doing her show. It was at night. It was kind of mellow. She had information and all of that. Yeah. And the fact that she had that news background, she wanted definitely to bring people information. I always liked Edna.
Yeah. And a favorite show, I would have to say it was J Love's show with all the fellas on there.
Okay.
So.
All right, the Friday Week in Review, the Bad Boys of the Buzz.
The Bad Boys of the Buzz. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's all I wanted, man.
Hey, I appreciate the call.
All right, one love, fam.
All right. Okay, hold on a second. Don't call back in. Don't call in yet. Hold on. I got to do it because I don't want it to do that crackling thing when y'all call. All right, the lines are back open. I see some missed calls. Yeah, Edna. I always liked Edna. Y'all know that as y'all tell me this stuff, I missed a call. It didn't ring. Whoever just called and I missed your call back. It never rang. All right. Twin.
What's up, fam? What's up, man?
Well, what's up, twin?
I can't call it player, man. I wanted to go, show my black support, at this barbecue joint over there by College Hill, Emanuel, right there by the Hair Palace. Man, it's packed over there. I don't know if people got some stimulus check, first of the month, Mother's Day, but it's thick over there, man.
Okay, I'm not
Across
familiar
here.
with it.
Huh?
I'm not
Yeah, it's
familiar with it
a
at all.
food truck. Yeah, it's a food truck called Smokes Barbecue or something like that, man. The rib tills off the chain, man.
All right.
I'm eating the greens right now,
Okay.
I told him, give me a taste tester before I buy y'all stuff. And, I can't say, man. It's on 10, man. It's on 10. Then he got the funnel cake truck next to it that sell a little lemonade and all that. Fine, man. Check it out, man.
That's it?
If you get a chance and all that.
All right.
Yeah. What's up, man? What's on the menu today, man?
We're just talking about your all-time favorite buzz host and show.
I'll say, man. Even though you got on my nerve when I first called Lincoln back in 2010, and you answered the phone, and then you like, what do you want to talk about? I not paused for a minute. I'm like, man, what do you mean I want to talk about? I guess I want to talk about the same thing he on. And it pissed me off, man. And you did it 3 times to me. Well, I didn't appreciate it. I was in my feed. Every time you take my call, you was like, what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Guess what the guest talking about?
And then
the host or whatever.
And then did I follow that up with what's the point you like to make?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you sure did, and that pissed me. I'm like, man, I guess I want to, relate to what the host talking about. It that pissed me off, but I can't say it, man. You was the one after Lincoln go off, or you got to fill in when he, got to go feed his liver or something, or whatever. You always fill in for him. You was a good host, so my good, favorite host was you.
I appreciate that.
And everything, but even though you ain't nothing though, but hey, you still my guy though.
Hey, I appreciate
but man,
too.
You crack me up though, man. Sometimes you be serious, sometimes you be a comedian, but I just gotta roll with the punches. E-man is E-man.
All right.
What
Twin,
else on
it.
the menu, man?
Huh?
What else on the menu?
That's it.
Ain't nothing else?
No, that's it. I'm about to get out of here. I'm taking calls. I'm doing my little poll. Just want to see, who people are. So I got to make room for somebody else to get in.
Okay. What you doing with that Bengals on?
It's a shirt. You wear it to cover your torso.
You made it?
No. I've had this shirt for I don't know how many years. I was painting. So.
Oh, I thought you came out of retirement like, forget it. I might as well, go with the NFL. Something like that. All right, you be safe, man. All right.
All right, twin. Enjoy that food.
Oh, I am, man. I am. All right, man.
All right, that's twin. 513-717 King. 513-717-5464. Should I call? I was about to say, should I call Langston back? Langston.
What's going on, Emanuel?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, brother. Hey, definitely had to chime in on the old school lineup. Man, that's so hard. I was still going back and forth as I was listening to everyone, and I'm thinking my favorite, I have to say, honestly, just because his approach to sports was always Box.
Okay.
Box had a great kind of subtle way of really being knowledgeable, but really delivering great sports. I love sports radio, too, so he just had a really good, him and E.T. were just a great team, had great chemistry. I just thought he had a great delivery of sports. He always made it fun to listen to.
All right.
But I will say my favorite show has to be Sister Speak. And I think it was just it was refreshing to hear just a cast of women with their different takes on things. I've been a fan of Jules since then, and I thought Patty B brought some angst to it. But that was very good stuff. Wish that type of lineup could come back.
Okay.
But I don't want to hold you, brother. I appreciate you, and keep on listening.
Hey, Langston, I appreciate you. Thanks for calling.
No worries, brother.
All right, that's Langston. His favorite, Wayne Box Miller. And his favorite show, Sister Speak. You can't beat that. It was a good show. And all of the different iterations, there were, I think, just really, when I'm thinking about it, 2 hosts from Sister Speak. Of all of those women, 2 hosts that I did not get along with. And then one that post there because of some other meddling and nonsense that I guess I currently, I won't say even that I don't get along with her, but she won't talk to me or speak to me or look at me. But there were only 2 of the whole lineup that I did not get along with. One was only there for one day, so that kind of don't count. And one, I just didn't get along with her. All right. Anybody else? You tell me your favorite. Tell me your favorite. Jerica says who? Who what? Who are you saying who? Wow, someone is okay. So y'all force me to tell these. Y'all don't force me, but I tell these stories, just because. There was one lady who she had some sort of a hearing impairment, and so she used sign language when she talked, and she kind of talked. I don't mean it to sound rude or anything, but she kind of talked like someone who has a hearing impairment. And hey, Tanika, hold on just a second. She was there for one show, and she did the show. Everything went off without a hitch. There was no chemistry. It was somebody that Lincoln Ware had brought in, and I didn't at that time. I was just a board op, technical producer, and so she did the one show. There was no chemistry, so they didn't bring her back. And then later, she told Lincoln that the whole show I was giving her the finger and just all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm like, I didn't even know that lady. Like I never knew her name or anything. And she said Jerry was like super mean to her, and I think she said Jerry cussed her out or something like that. And I gave her the finger the whole show and just all kind of nonsense. She never came back. So I'm counting her as one that I didn't get along with because she just lied on me afterwards. I didn't get along very well with Amina. I don't really want to go into it, but I didn't get along well with her. I never really understood the way she reasoned. I guess that's the best way to say it. I never really understood the way she reasoned, and she didn't understand the way that I reasoned. And so we did not get along. And that's that. And then Deasa, who I always got along with. I always liked Deasa. Like, I really liked Deasa. But then after she had been gone, and they had all, disbanded that whole show, she went to the church that I went to, FAI.
Ooh.
And she came to the church for a while. And I would be like, hey, Deasa. Initially she would be like, hey, man, everything was normal.
Oh, I know who Deasa is.
You all right, Tanika?
Oh, yeah. I'm not laughing, am I?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm over here having side conversations. My bad, bro.
Yeah. And I don't have the ability to put you on hold.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was just thinking, I know who Deasa is. She had, the natural hair.
Yes.
Yeah, I know who Deasa is. Okay, my bad.
Shorter lady. She was really nice.
Yeah.
You could speak to her and everything. And then one week, she walked by, and I spoke to her, and she just kept walking. She didn't say hi. And I'm sitting there looking like a dummy, like, hey, what's up, Deasa?
Oop.
And she just walked by. And I'm like, what happened? But I didn't think anything of it. And then when I went to work that Monday, Lincoln said, and this is straight from Lincoln's mouth, whether he denied or not. Lincoln says, oh, I saw Deasa. You remember Deasa? Yeah, I saw Deasa. And then we got to talking about you, and I told her you and Jerry hated her. Y'all used to talk so bad about her when she wasn't around. I'm like, where did you get that from? Me and Jerry never talked bad about Deasa when she wasn't around. I thought y'all used to say bad stuff about her when she... Who told you that? Why would you even think that? You never heard me and Jerry say anything bad about her. I told her that y'all used to talk bad about her. I'm like, that's why she don't speak to me now. Because she think we hated her and we talked bad about her behind her back. Now it makes sense. But and he just volunteered that. I didn't ask. I didn't say nothing. He just, I saw Deasa. I told her, and he laughed. I told her, you and Jerry used to talk bad about her behind her back. Why would you tell somebody that? Especially when it's not true. So, yeah, she don't talk to me now. I saw her not too long ago. She was getting on a plane to Orlando, and I was getting on the plane. And, I spoke, or, hey, what's up? And she just kept walking, and I was like, and a part of me want to say, I know what Lincoln told you and that was a lie, but there's another part of me like, if you just believed it and didn't ask no questions, then that's on you. So those are the two people that I didn't get along with and the one that don't speak to me no more, but I never had any problem with her. Tanika.
Hey, Emanuel. I was waiting on my official, entrance. So anyway, my bad. I think my favorite show was Sister Speak because I like the perspective of the male perspective and the female perspective, and I love that everybody was professionals, and I think it was a really good show. And of course, I love your show.
Thank you. All right. So
I know.
who overall? Who was your favorite personality?
My favorite personality?
Just on the whole station. Throughout the history of the station. And saying Lincoln Ware is not a bad answer.
I like Lincoln Ware. But I'm going to say, to be honest, I like Nathan Ivey. I love his show. I love that he was my favorite personality.
Okay. I always thought, I said it then, I say it now, I always thought he's one of the best talk show hosts I've ever seen do talk. Just period.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my favorite. But when it comes to like the old school ladies, I'm going to tell you who I like, and I'm going to tell you why. And then keep in mind, I didn't listen to a lot of their music because I'm a gospel girl, grew up listening to gospel, grew up in the church. But I'm going to tell you why. I would say my favorite is Shaka Khan. I like Shaka Khan because I love her range. To the fire, to the living, to the one, just a chance to be with you. I'm glad we risk it all. Yeah, I love that. I love... Stephanie Mills is cool. I like the way she sang Home. I love that. But I was trying to explain to Daryl. I think Daryl got mad at me in a little bit. But she has that vibrato, and she sounds a little nasally to me. But I like her. She's a good thinker.
So she put her at number 2?
No, she's one that had to mention her. What's her name? I love Midnight Train to Georgia. I be having these. I don't have the COVID thing that you said, but I be having brain freezes. What's her name?
Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight. I love Gladys Knight. I love the lower tones in her voice. I love how she has that deeper range. I like Gladys Knight because I would say her number 2. I would say Patti LaBelle number 3 because I like the way she kicks her shoes off when she performs. But she has a good range as well. Then I would say Stephanie Mills last.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Would you agree?
No, but I mean, I agree for you.
But do you agree like on the tones as far as like Gladys Knight has that lower. I love that lower register that she sings in.
Her voice is like I said, that lower register, and it's just so smooth. It's just so smooth.
Yeah, I love that. That good alto. Yeah. Emanuel, say hi to my sister. She's in the chat. She doesn't listen often, but she's in the chat. So say hi to my sister for me.
Who?
Her name is April. April Chanel. That's my sister.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, what's up, April?
Yeah.
What's up, April? I see you.
Yeah, that's my blood sister. I have a lot of sisters, but that's my blood sister. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What else is on the menu, like Twin would say?
Oh, that's it. I'm trying to get out of here, so that's it.
Tell little baby I said hi. And for the record, I didn't get to call in yesterday. Brent is James, so I've named them both Brent James. I know it's not him, but I kept listening like, man, that sounds just like Brent. Like, I'm telling you, they can, like, if it was a competition or if they were trying to scam somebody with their voice, I mean, they could be the same people. I know Brent gets mad about me saying that, but yeah, I call him Brent James. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's all I had.
I appreciate your call.
No problem. Take care.
All right, have a good one. All right, that's Tanika. Hold on a second. Let me shut that down again because it'll start acting up. I got bootleg phone over here, even though it's just digital on a computer, so it shouldn't have any problems, but it does. Let's see. It's 5:34. If anybody want to call in, I'll take like 3 more calls. 3 more calls. I'm just asking because I just be interested, you know, when you, from the inside looking out, I have, you know, different things that I liked for my own reasons or whatever. But I'm just always interested to hear what other people thought and, you know, the shows that they liked and why. Always interested to hear the shows that the other people liked and why. So, yeah. If somebody wanted to call, I'll give it a couple more minutes and give people an opportunity. April says, you always say you didn't know we were sisters. I listened to you first and told her about you. Okay. I don't be remembering. I don't be remembering. I don't be remembering. Okay, now I know y'all been putting it in the chat. So now you can put in the chat your favorite host, your favorite show, but put in there why. So if you're like Lincoln Ware, because he's the funniest guy. And I don't know, the J Love show, because I just love the controversy and the way that it balanced the Lincoln Ware show, whatever. In the chat, your favorite host, even if you put it before, because I wasn't reading them. I said I was only doing calls at that time, and I was only doing calls. So right now, favorite host, favorite show, and why. Favorite host, favorite show, and why. Because the why is important to me. I got too many demands. Sorry, but I want to know why. I want to know why. Hold on. Oh, scroll. Let's see. Okay, nobody putting it in there. So who is your favorite? Okay, you say it's not. I was just giving that as an example. I was just giving Lincoln as an example. Because I don't want people to think, you know, oh, he don't like Lincoln, so I can't say Lincoln. No, I like Lincoln. Emanuel, very informative and loved the, I for a second, I thought that said diabetes. I was about to say, oh, you taking shots. Very informative and love the diabetes. But okay, very informative and love the debates. I don't know how I saw diabetes. But that's what I saw initially when I read it. All right, and your favorite show. Andrea says Lincoln Ware show, mainly because I enjoyed hearing Sister Francis. Okay, all right. Jason says I would say Nathan Ivey and E-Man. Not far behind. Okay. Nathan Ivey was just very entertaining when he would battle with Sister Francis over her beliefs. All right. Jerica says the Lincoln show because of the callers. I'd say the information, but sometimes it's false. Okay. Sierra says Lincoln and the Lincoln Ware show. It was my gateway to listening to the buzz and it's easy listening during my college days and now through my career. Oh, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. Samuel says, I like Box because he makes sports talk fun, informative, and Sister Speak as a show. All right. Nobody liked any of the weekend shows, Dr. Denise Davis, Ken Anderson. Nobody liked any of that stuff. My favorite, Daryl says his favorite host was J Love. All right. And his favorite show was the Primetime Sports Show and Nate Livingston. I love the early buzz when it was owned by Blue Chip Broadcasting. Okay. I'm sorry, Moesha. That's what I thought she said. That's what I saw in the chat. Kim Moore Eberhard says Nate Livingston because he kept it real. You either liked his views or you didn't, and he loved to debate. Okay. The worst. I'm not saying that. Jerry Tolliver is your favorite host, Jeannie. And Sister Speak is your favorite show. I love the topics they touched on, and Jerry moved the show along. Yes, she did. Jerry did all of the work for, a lot of people don't know, Jerry was the executive producer and then later on the program director for the station. And Jerry was the heart of that station. Like nothing would have happened. All the drives, I was about to say shoe drive. I don't know if we did a shoe drive. The food drives and the backpack drives and all of the outreach that we did all came from Jerry legitimately saying, I think if we're here, we should give back to the community as best we can. And the best way that we as a talk show or as a talk station can give back to the community is to encourage people to help one another. And so she would do all of those drives. And none of that stuff would have happened if it wasn't for Jerry. Y'all know that 28 days of black business that they do? 100% Jerry Tolliver's idea. That if my understanding is correct, they tasked Jerry Tolliver, oh, we need to bring in more income. And she was like, well, 28 days of black business, 28, it's Black History Month. So we can just, instead of just, it's Black History, 28 days of black business. And that way we give a discount to black businesses, gives them an opportunity to, put their wares in front of everybody and then, maybe make a little extra money during the month. And who knows, they might, advertise with us more regularly. That was 100% her idea. 100%. Nobody else can take credit for that. Tanika says she liked my show. Thank you. Black Lion says Emanuel was his favorite personality. Thank you. I wasn't listening when the other shows were on. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me see. Steban Speed says Nathan, Ivy, and Lincoln favorite personality. Everyone. Well, Steban, your favorite is only one, so you got to choose one. CK says Sister Francis was by far the greatest caller to ever call the buzz. Okay. Sierra says she didn't like Ken Anderson or Rob Richardson. Okay. All right. Tanika says she loves Lincoln's show. The callers are hilarious. Yes. April says, love Lincoln Ware. He's a staple in my family. He is where I got my news. Ooh, that makes me sad. You miss a day, you miss a lot. My kids want to hear him while we're driving. I like the Lincoln Ware show, but it's not the best place to get your news. It's definitely not. Sometimes he be saying stuff that don't be right, and then he believe it for whatever reason. Then you find out it wasn't right, and he act like it wasn't no big deal that it wasn't right. It's a good show, great show. It's not the best place to get your news. Not the best place. Sierra says I miss Nate causing chaos on the podcast. Okay. Oh, let's see. Sister Francis' favorite caller. Just seems very nice and very knowledgeable. I miss her for sure. Okay. Emanuel, I'm not a man who likes big women. Hey, Shaka Khan can't get it. I'm not 100% sure what that means. Shannon says J Love, and she driving. She can't tell you why, but she driving. J Love is her favorite personality. All right. My favorite was Jerry Tolliver and Sister Speak. I enjoyed the way they let you into the debates, just to get a male's point of view. All right. James.
What's up, E-Man?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. I don't think me and Brent sound alike, but, I could be probably off.
Yeah, you are. Y'all sound alike.
For real?
Yes.
Oh, that's deep. That's deep. So my favorites. My favorite show was probably, I want to say, your show, actually.
All right.
And then I want to say Lincoln. Then I want to say Box.
Okay, so you're saying favorite show was The Afternoon Experience, and favorite personality was Lincoln Ware?
Well, no. My favorite personality was Sister Francis.
Well, she was just a caller. We're talking about hosts.
But, okay, come on, she called every day. She should have been, and y'all was trying to get her on the pay.
No.
So
there were actually a lot of people who, when she first started calling, they didn't really know how to handle her calling. And some people suggested we shouldn't let her on. And some people...
For real?
Yeah, yes. There was legit a debate about whether or not people would take her calls. And there were certain people who legitimately would not take her calls. And,
Do you know why not?
They just... they thought that what she was doing was nonsense. Like, all that speaking in tongues and all that kind of stuff. Nobody want to deal with all that nonsense and so on and so forth. And I mean, I'm not gonna say who, but there were people who were very adamant that I don't want her calls on my show. Do not put her on my show. And eventually, almost everybody warmed up to her. But initially, I don't know, because people won't remember it but initially, they really, almost everybody would cut her super short. And I always thought, like, this is, like, talk gold. Like, we done hit gold. Why would we not take her? Don't take her call and attempt to humiliate her and all of that kind of stuff. Take her call. I say this because this is the way I said it, but it'll sound like something else. But I said, take her calls and take her seriously. And when you do that, like, don't try to make her funny. Don't try to make her a mockery of her. Take her calls and take her seriously, and it'll be gold. And then once that started happening, it was what it was. But initially, there were a lot of people who really genuinely did not want her calling the station, period.
Honestly, the whole Buzz experience for me, it made my workday go so much faster. I laughed so much. And even now, this is probably the only opportunity I get to talk to someone that's black. Oh. Because Vancouver and Portland area is so white.
Interesting.
So, and that's why I kind of got back to checking out your show, his show, because it was the only opportunity I could hear black folks talk.
Interesting.
And it sounds crazy, but yeah, that is the case, because here I can go a month without seeing another black person.
That makes me sad.
And then if I do, they don't speak. And that's how you know they're from here. Like anyone that's not from here will give you a head nod, speak, or something. But if they're from here, they won't even make eye contact.
Interesting.
And it's the strangest thing because I never kind of encountered that before.
Yeah, that makes me sad. I mean, just because I can't imagine. Look, when I went to Clifton Elementary, it was turning into, majority black school. Then when I went to Schwab, that was, a majority black high school. Of course, Aiken, a black school. I went to Alabama State, a black school. I had one job where it was majority white. Every other job that I've had has been majority black. So I've been just around black people for the majority of the time. Like, I couldn't imagine being in a work environment where I'm the only black or one of very few blacks and all that kind of stuff. I've experienced it before, but I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine not seeing black people.
Oh, well, I grew up in Witten Terrace, so in the 80s.
Okay.
So I've been around black people my whole life, kind of. But in my work experience, I've been the only black because not many black people do this. So for the last 30 years, I've pretty much worked around a bunch of white guys who may or may not talk to me at all, which is fine because I can't do nothing about that, and that's why I put headphones on so I don't have to be bothered with all of that.
Wow. Well, all right. Hey, James, I appreciate your call. I'm about to get out of here.
All right, sir.
All right. Thanks for your call.
All right, bye.
All right. Y'all, my time is up. I got to get out of here. I'm about to get out of here. Plus, I got to work out with the little baby. And she got 7-year-old energy. She got 7-year-old energy. Pray for me. But I promised her I'd do it, so that's what we about to do. Yeah, I could not imagine not being around black people, not seeing black people on a regular basis. I couldn't imagine it. I like black people. Hold on, I see something about somebody said they used to like Zoe's battles. Yeah, I used to like his battles. He used to tickle me with all of that over the top laughing and coughing and all of that kind of stuff. Some people were really annoyed by it, but it always tickled me. I always thought, interesting. I always liked Zoe and his battles. Emanuel Livingston, no way what? Zoe was a good guest host. He really was. And I liked it because Zoe could come in and do a battle. So like if everything, people get tired of just talking about this and it'd be so depressing or it'd be so intense or whatever. But then Zoe could just come in, boom, we're gonna do this battle and just lighten the mood as a guest host. He actually had a show. A nighttime show earlier on, and he did, and then I remember when he was coming in and he was doing all of the battles and stuff, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, "This is a talk show, no battles, so you got to bring somebody else in." It's like, no, he can do talk. He's a very intelligent man. He can do talk. And, he would do talk. And, yeah, He was what do they call it? It's not flexible. I'm not looking for the term flexible. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. But he was that. Yeah. Rick says, I hit you up on your shows another day. All right. Thank you. Versatile. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Sierra. He was very versatile. He was. You know what? I might have to change my I'm not going to. I was about to say I might have to change my whole kind of way that I talk about people, because I be giving people props when they won't give me props. And y'all don't know how many people I've heard or had say to me, like, bro, if people don't show you love, you shouldn't show them love. If people won't, talk about you in a positive way, you shouldn't talk about them in a positive way. Don't ask me why I have a screwdriver in my hand. It was sitting here. If people won't, big up you, you shouldn't big up them. But I don't know. I'm just not that guy. Like I am an appreciator. If you do something well, I just like to acknowledge that. I'm not that guy. So but I find myself saying stuff like I'm talking positively about Zoe, whereas, Zoe doesn't have anything positive to say about me. I talk positively about Lincoln. Lincoln don't have nothing positive to say about me. I talk positive about Nathan Ivey. Nathan don't have nothing positive to say about me. I talk positive about Jerry Tolliver. Jerry don't have nothing positive to say about me. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff. But I can't help it. I mean, I just appreciate, I appreciate. So I'm always going to do it. So, to my friends who tell me don't do it and all that kind of stuff, if I will say something bad about you, because I will if it's true. If I'll say something bad about you, I'm going to say something good about you if it's true too. I'm a hater, but I'm not that much of a hater. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that much of a hater. So yeah, okay. That's that. Look, y'all, I enjoyed my time with y'all. I'm about to get out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Y'all, I'm glad that I did that little question. It brought up some pleasant memories and, some backstories. Like, if I could just tell the backstory of, like, all of these shows, if I could tell the backstory of all of the Buzz shows and behind-the-scenes stuff, people would be so entertained at some points and shocked at some other points. It was a good ride, and I'm glad that people enjoyed it. And I meet people all the time who, I grew up. Will, not Will Jones. There's another young man named Will. He's a grown man now, but he be, when I see him, he used to tell me, like, man, I grew up listening to you. And that just blows my mind. Like, you grew up listening to me. Like, yeah, my mama used to listen to the Buzz. And so, like, every time we was in the car, anytime we went anywhere, I grew up listening to you. And it seemed like you was on all the time. Like, you was on everybody's show. And I'm like, I kind of was. It wasn't by design, but I kind of was. And he like, so yeah, just your voice. When I think back to my childhood and I think about my mama and, anytime I think about us going somewhere, your voice is a part of that memory. I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, and this is like a grown man, like looking at me like, ooh, I met you, you somebody. And I'm like, bro, I ain't nobody. I'm just some guy. But it's just fascinating to me that I'm a part of the fabric of a lot of people's childhood. So yeah, that's fascinating to me. And when you're doing that stuff, or at least me, you don't really think about that. I just liked the job. So, yeah, yeah, the whole thing is fascinating. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and allowing me, to just do this and be me. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. And when I came in, it was starting to rain. So, if you're out and about, I don't know if it's raining or not now, but just make sure you're safe and all of that good stuff. All right? Until next time, be the reason that somebody smiles today. I'm out, y'all. Peace.